Hello folks, I'm going to be doing a small demonstration today of how I use a pressure cooker to make a meal, and I'm finding this really useful. One, because it helps me manage my diet, because I have to have a restricted diet due to the fact I have colitis, but the other side of it is it's budget as well, because when you're living frugally, or you have to live frugally, every little bit helps, doesn't it? So I found a way to use a pressure cooker that enables me to make cheap meals that actually last over a few days. So I hope people find this useful, and also please be aware I'm not a chef. I'm just a normal person doing a wee bit of cooking. So hopefully this will be easy for you to follow and get some tips from. Just to show people the machine that I am using, the pressure cooker machine. This is electric, it's not one that goes over the hob. Mine's an Amazon Basics machine. It's quite a big one, though I don't use it to its full capacity. As with most electric pressure cookers, it has set menus if you want to use it, or manual setup, but I always use the set menus. You just pick the number you want and set it off. Now this is the pot that's inside the machine. I tend to take mine out, so I'm working with it away from the main machine when I'm putting in my ingredients for what I want to make. It is non-stick, however I do tend to put oil in, because even though it says it's non-stick, it does tend to stick. Because it's non-stick, I always use plastic or wooden utensils with it. It comes with a couple of plastic utensils, so this is one of the ones that it came with, so I'm using that. Now the first thing that I tend to put in is the oil, just to make sure I don't forget. I'm just using sunflower oil. You can use any kind of oil really, as long as it's good for non-sticking. I use this because it's cheapest really. Olive oil is quite nice, but it tends to be more expensive. I just put enough in to go around the bottom of the tub. I generally put frozen things into my pressure cooker, frozen vegetables, not meat, but frozen veg. However, if the frozen veg is a bit thicker, I tend to defrost it through night. And meat, I tend to defrost as well before I put it in. So today I'm doing a meatballs casserole. I've got my meatballs defrosted, and I've also got the thicker veg I want to put in. That's defrosted, and I'm going to be putting in some hash browns and roast parsnip. Now you can do some kind of frying with this, I think. I don't tend to do that, but you can do. But even though I am doing it as a casserole, it still keeps its flavour, even though it's on the actual vegetable, so you don't lose that much flavour. So I've done that. I'm now going to put in at the bottom the bigger things. So that's the hash browns. It's placed in the bottom of the tub. And my parsnips. And don't worry, I did wash my hands before I started all this. They're going into the bottom. My hands are white. So I've got the bigger vegetables and potatoes actually in the bottom of my tub. And now I want to make my flavouring for this. Now I use casserole flavourings, and this one's a Coleman's. It's a lamb hot pot. See if you can see that. And it makes it really easy when you're making something like this. It puts all the seasoning and everything in, and I mean for easy, I don't want hard work. So I'd already boiled my kettle, at least I think I did. Yes, I did. So I'm just going to put this flavouring in my plastic jug. And I'm going to put some hot water in this. Now, there's going to be quite a bit of water going into this dish, so I tend to put plenty in, more than probably I need to mix my the flavouring. Oh, the boring bit watching me mix some of it. Okay, so that's well mixed, ready to go in. Now, the rest of the vegetables I'm going to be using are frozen. Now, it's up to you what you want to put into your casseroles. I'm just going to let you know what I put into mine. I get a casserole vegetable mix, and it's got swede, turnip, onion, leek and carrots. Kind of a nice mix. Now, I'm only using making enough for me to last about 3 days. So at the bottom of this tub is now some things I put in. I'm going to be covering that with some of this veg. So I'm just covering all that I've put in now with the frozen veg. It's a thin layer. There we go. You don't actually need that much. This is why I find it's a budget meal, because a big bag of that costs £1 where I get them from. I'm from Iceland. So that's a 1 kilogram bag, costs £1, and I will get at least 4 of these dishes out of that. And those dishes last me 3 days a time, because that's a lot for £1. Now, as a treat, because I kind of like them, butternut squash chunks. Again, it's a smaller bag, it's 500 for £1, but it's a nice treat, so I'll just put a few of these in. It adds a bit of sweetness. Not a lot, just a little bit, just to have a bit of interest in there. Now, at the moment, on the inside, and then there's measurements on the side of here, my ingredients is only coming to there. So as you can see, I'm not using most of this bowl. Now I'm going to be putting in my seasoning. Let's pour it in. There's a little bit left in there, so I need a little bit more water, so I'm going to use that up. Just putting a little bit of water in. Now, when it comes to water, most of the time, I will make sure that the water is just over the top of my ingredients. And the reason I do that is because, one, I want it to cook properly, but also it's frozen stuff. So if you put too much in, the frozen stuff is going to defrost and add even more water. So you don't need to cover it up to, halfway on the gauge on the side of the bowl with water, because you're going to have water in your frozen food. Now I'm going to add my meatballs, and I'll just pop them in around the place. Now, I don't put a lot in because I'm not a big meat eater. This is personal choice. You can put more in if you want. And that's that done. And now I'm going to put a little bit more water in. I thought I would just show you the ingredients inside my inner tub, and as you can see, it's hardly used any of the dish size. I mean, this is a big one. This would probably feed, you know, 6-7 people in one go, and I don't need that kind of thing. But this is enough. A quarter of this full is enough for 3 meals, and that is an idea as well of where the water is that you put in. Just over the top of the vegetables, taking into account the fact that frozen veg will defrost and add more liquid in. Now I've put my inner dish back into the pressure cooker machine, and with this one it has like a lock on it, so you know it's in the right position. It's still a little bit open first. And before I do that, I forgot to mention, there is a valve on this, and you need to set it to shut, and all pressure cooker machines have that valve on, the electric ones, and you always set it to shut before you start cooking. All the lids work similar, and you have to make sure it's on lock. And I tend to do this before I switch it on. Once it's switched on, it comes up, lights up. Now for this, I'm going to use broth for the menu, and the reason being is I've learned that works best for me for the time. It's about 10 minutes for that. So for this one, I have to click on menu and put it up to 10 and then leave it. Now, some of the others are slightly different. Some of them you just press the button and it starts right away. This is how this one works. So now it's set to start cooking. It tends to take a while to pressure up and then it starts cooking. So once that's finished, I'll come back to it and show you how I de-steam it. Now the machine has been bleeping to tell me that it's finished. It's not very loud actually, so I don't always hear it, but I tend to come and check on it anyway. And now I'm going to de-steam it. Now this tends to be the bit where there's more chance of having an accident and getting burnt, because hot steam is going to now come out of that valve, and it's on off at the minute, so I have to push it towards open. See how that? I've got the window open to try and get the steam. There we go. So that's something to keep clear of when you're using these machines. Now it had de-steamed, and I took the lid off, I knocked the machine off and took the inside tub out using oven gloves because it's really hot. I wish I could tell you how nice it smells. I expressed it in some ways, it smells lovely. Shame video doesn't pass that on. So it's nice. Give it a mix up, and I'm going to be ladling out my dinner. So that's basically it. Quite simple, 10 minutes and it's all cooked. And now all I have to do is have some dinner. I will get a few, I use a bowl this size, I'll get a few meals out of this kind of bowl. And the extras I put in a Tupperware bowl, and when it's cooled down it goes into the fridge. And when I want to have some more, I just heat it up in the microwave, and that's it. Brilliant way to cook. I find it really, really useful. Cost effective, it doesn't use a lot of electric, and of course the ingredients I'll be lucky if this has cost me £2.50, £3 for the whole all of this, and it'll last 3 days. So you know that's a good budget friendly meal as well. I'm going to say bye for now, because I want to enjoy my dinner. I'm really hungry. Now I can smell it. And I hope anybody who's watched this who lives on their own or lives, you know, with restricted diet or also has to live on a budget finds this useful, because little things like this can make a big difference, and to motivate you to cook and look after yourself, which is something you don't always do when you have to deal with mental health problems and trauma. So bye for now, folks. I'll see you in the near future with a different video.